agree.
Naftali Bennett, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thank you.
Well, joining me now is the host of the mother of all talk shows and former British MP, George Galloway. George, you were listening there to Naftali Bennett. What was your response to that interview?
Well, you did a good job as his Alistair Campbell to him as Tony Blair. I hope he remembers you if he does get into the Prime Minister's seat. I'm frankly astounded that you did not ask him about the bombing of the Iranian state TV station just a couple of hours ago, the mass murder of tea ladies, technicians, journalists and broadcasters. I can't believe that you didn't know about that. And indeed, Professor
Actually, I don't know about that.
was...
You've just told me that, so that's the answer to your question. I didn't know about that. I've been on air.
Well, you really need to be better briefed.
Well,
you're
okay,
interviewing a guy that you're punting.
You can have your views about that.
This is
in answer
very
to your
important.
question, I didn't know, so that's the answer to your question.
Well, you should have known.
Okay, well, you're a better journalist than me. You're a better broadcaster than me. I didn't know.
Professor Marandi was in that building. I don't know if he's dead, but the story is that he was in that building to do an interview with you, and I very much hope that that is not true. And I very much hope that he is still alive.
He told me that was true. He told me that he'd been told to leave, but had decided to stay and do the interview, in which all he did was call me a liar, a coward, and a genocide enabler.
So you did know about the bombing of the Iranian TV station?
No, there was no bombing going on when I interviewed him, obviously, or I would have stopped the interview.
Piers, there's mass casualties.
Yes, George.
In the Iranian
you asked me
TV
if I knew
station.
It was going on when I interviewed him. I didn't.
Well, it's a disgrace that you did not know.
Well, I didn't, or I would have stopped.
Because you might have been able to ask.
If I'd known, I would have stopped the interview, obviously.
Well, this is going to grow and grow as an issue, Piers. You may very well be in difficulty here.
I won't be in any difficulty at all. Why don't we get on with the interview?
One thing you did know is that Israel has scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons. And you did not mention it. Why is Israel allowed illegally to hold scores, if not hundreds, of nuclear weapons in defiance of the law, uninspected by any agency in Dimona? And reports today from Dimona are that they are currently modernizing their nuclear fleet. Don't you think that would have put in a better perspective this issue of nuclear weapons? The reason I know you know it is because the brave Jewish whistleblower Mordechai Vanunu, who blew the whistle on Israel's nuclear weapons, came first to the Daily Mirror and was betrayed by your enemy and mine, Robert Maxwell, to the Mossad, and then spent 22 years in prison in solitary confinement, and turned up in the courtroom with his jaws wired together like Hannibal Lecter, so he couldn't tell the courtroom what he'd told the Daily Mirror. Finally, the story appeared in Andrew Neil's Sunday Times, but only after Maxwell had betrayed him to the Mossad. So this issue of nuclear weapons, according to Tulsi Gabbard, Iran is not seeking to build a nuclear weapon.
Why would you believe them?
February.
Why would you believe them?
Well, I believe Tulsi Gabbard.
Why do you believe Iran?
No, I'm believing Tulsi Gabbard.
The atomic agency,
I'll come on to Iran.
Given that the atomic agency...
Why do you want to dodge Tulsi Gabbard?
You've talked and talked and talked. Let me get a question in. The atomic agency, as you know, brought out a report in the last few days. It made it clear that Iran had lied, obfuscated, denied access, not allowed enough inspections, and that it now got uranium enriched to 60%, which is a massive stage forward from where they were at 3% a few years ago to now 60%. And the move from that to being able to create a nuclear weapon is actually much closer and therefore more potentially imminent as a threat. And I'm just curious why you would trust Iran as far as you could throw it, the regime, not the people, the regime, when they are clearly accelerating their nuclear program, clearly accelerating their enrichment program.
Piers,
why would you not be concerned about that?
Piers, I trust Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump's director of national intelligence.
You do?
Don't you?
Well,
Don't
you do? I'm surprised you do.
I'm very much hoping she'll be the next president, Piers. But I trust her. Don't you?
I don't know. I've interviewed her once in my life. I don't know whether to trust everything she says or not.
Well, you know that Donald Trump appointed her the director of national intelligence. Why would you doubt her?
Look,
Isn't Trump your friend?
I'm not doubting her or trusting her or untrusting her.
Does he appoint liars?
I'm asking you why you. I'm asking you why you trust the Iranian regime when they say they're not wanting to build a nuclear bomb.
Well, you're actually asking the wrong person for this reason. If I was running Iran, I would long ago have had a nuclear weapon because Israel has scores or hundreds of them. And as you've just heard, is determined to bring about regime change in Iran. So you won't get me to clutch my pearls about Iran having nuclear weapons.
Why wouldn't you want regime change in Iran out of interest, given what a draconian, repressive, despicable regime it is?
I have this old-fashioned view. You once had it also in relation to the country next door, Iraq, that the leadership in any country is the business of the people in that country. But if you've got a nuclear-armed superpower trying to change your regime, frankly, you're an idiot if you don't arm yourself to the maximum that you are capable of.
So you want to see Iran arming itself with nuclear weapons?
Well, Israel's got hundreds.
No, I'm asking you about Iran.
You've just been talking about the slaughter of the innocent.
I'm asking you about Iran.
In Gaza. Well,
would you, George Galloway, it sounds to me like you, George Galloway, unlike the rest of the world, would like to see Iran arming itself with nuclear weapons, to which I say you've lost your marbles.
Piers, there you go again. Unlike the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Do you really think that you speak for the rest of the
Not China or Russia or North Korea. So let's take those four countries out of it, or Pakistan.
Listen,
but
Iran
actually, yes, most of the world has a real problem with the concept of Iran being a nuclear power, apart from you, who thinks they should have loads of nukes.
No, it's not just for me. Iran is presently the hero of the vast majority of people in the world.
Oh, rubbish.
And it's
absolute
the fact
rubbish.
That you can't see
what a
that.
load of absolute
Piers,
nonsense.
Take your eyes off the posterior of the tiny part of the world, which is the Western world.
You think that
Africa
currently
is with
most
Iran.
of the world, you think the rest of the world
is with Iran.
You think the rest of the world
China is with Iran.
Yeah,
Russia is with Iran.
Russia,
All
China,
the Arabs are with Iran.
Russia, China,
Take
any
your
other
nose out of the ass
North Korea
of the tiny number of people that you think are the world. They're not the world. The world is 8 billion people.
Right.
You're speaking for the little clique that leads a tiny fraction of fewer than 1 billion of the people of the world.
So just to be clear,
you cannot see beyond the end of your nose.
As I suggested, then you want to put up as a defence for Iran that they're supported by China, Russia. Did you mention North Korea?
That's a lot of people, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. But are they the kind of people, in terms of their own regimes, that we should be taking as good supporters of these benevolent people in Tehran?
You're living under Keir Starmer's regime, for God's sake. You're going to blame the British for Keir Starmer? The French are living under little Macron. When did you get the right to decide that 7/8 of the world's population cannot be considered valid because you, Piers Morgan, don't like their regimes? Listen, there's something else you didn't mention, and you must also have known about that. Unless you switch your mobile off at 10 o'clock at night, you already know that Iran is giving Israel a bloody good hiding every single night.
It's not, though, is it? It's not, though, is it?
You described it all as a wonderful military operation.
As always, let me answer you. As always, the Iranian regime has put out apocalyptic statements about this will be the annihilation of Israel and everything. It's like it did the last time. And you know what happened last time? Nothing. Nothing. They fired a few rockets, Piers, and the dome dealt with them. This time they've got a few. This time they've got a few missiles have got through the dome. But the idea. Hang on. Let me finish my question. The idea that the Israeli Air Force have managed to inflict this kind of catastrophic damage on military commanders, nuclear scientists, nuclear sites, and all of this, and have control of the airwaves in Tehran.
No.
And the only response so far has been a few missiles that have got past the dome.
Missiles?
You say they've been pounding them. They've not been pounding
Have you seen
Israel.
Haifa?
They've not been pounding Israel.
You are astounded. This is something else you don't know. You didn't know about Marandi. You didn't know about the TV station.
I knew what Marandi told me.
Iran
I knew what Marandi told me.
Israel.
I knew what Professor Marandi told me. Just to be clear,
in a row, you don't know about it.
Just to be clear,
I'll tell you who I believe.
Just to be
You're
clear,
asking about belief.
Just to be clear,
I believe the mayor of Tel Aviv.
Sorry, if I may finish responding to you.
Can I quote an Israeli? I believe the mayor of Tel Aviv, a former director of intelligence in the Israeli army, now the elected mayor of Tel Aviv, who says this has got to stop. We cannot win this war. That's the mayor of Tel Aviv. I can believe him.
I see
or I
zero
can believe
evidence.
Piers Morgan.
There is zero evidence that Israel can't win this war as things stand. Zero.
Well, why
Most
are
of
they
it,
asking the United
90%
States
of the
to join
damage
in?
is being inflicted by Israel onto
This
Iran.
is pure nonsense, Piers. Why are
Why
they
are you so
begging
deluded,
Donald
George?
Trump?
Why are you so
begging Donald
Why is your
Trump to join in?
pathological hatred of all things Israel made you so deluded?
Is this something else you don't know? Do you know that Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon are right this minute on TV debating how if Trump gives in to Netanyahu's begging him to join in and save the day, that it will be the end of the Trump presidency, that it will split MAGA down the middle? Do you not know that either?
No, why would I know that? I've been on air. How would I know that?
Well, if you're really...
Why do you expect me to know
so
things when I'm literally
unaware,
interviewing
Piers,
people like
because
you?
I made the mistake, Piers, of thinking you were a well-informed man.
I am. But when I'm
about
actually
issues-
filming my show,
about
it's
issues-
quite hard to keep
about
up with
issues.
world
Well,
events.
don't you have someone that can pass you a note?
I've got lots
and
of
tell
people
you-
that do a brilliant job. That's why I have
Don't you have
one of the most
someone who
popular
can
shows
talk
in the world.
your ear?
Yeah, it's why my show's a lot more popular than yours, because I'm better at it than you. So stop the lectures about how good a journalist I am, or how good a broadcaster I am, or how good my team are, because if you were so good, George, you'd have a lot more people following you, a lot more people watching you. But most people think you become a delusional loon. And I think that's sad.
My dad is bigger than your dad.
Not my dad, just the number of people that watch my show massively dwarfs yours.
My dick is bigger than your dick. Are you really down to that, Piers? Well, I've got some evidence that it isn't, but I'll not go there because I'm actually astounded at the sheer ignorance, which I'm being very kind and calling it ignorance. I could easily call it lying. I could easily call it willful ignorance.
Of course you could.
That you didn't know there's tea ladies lying dead in the Iranian TV station.
To be clear,
and you interviewed Bennett and didn't even mention it to him.
To be clear, I'm being told by my team in my ear as we speak that outside of Iran, there has been no independent verification of what you are saying. So
It's
you are
on
believing.
television,
So you
Piers.
are believing the
It's
words
on
of the
television.
Iranian
Open your phone.
regime. And
You
forgive
can
me.
see the
And
video.
forgive me if I will wait for independent corroboration before believing what the Iranian regime
You
says.
don't believe. You don't believe that
are an
Professor
Iranian
Marandi.
regime stooge
You don't believe
who believes
that
anything
Professor
they say.
Marandi, your frequent guest, that gentleman,
Yeah,
was
he's not a
bombed
gentleman.
today. He's not
He's not a gentleman.
Oh. I think most of the people who've ever watched him think he's a gentleman.
No, I don't think he's a gentleman.
lying.
I think he's a very disingenuous man who
They
spews a lot
don't
of bullshit.
think he's
actually.
lying, Piers. They don't think he's lying.
Oh, they do,
when
George. They do. They do.
They think he's lying when he says he was bombed in the Iranian TV station
He
today.
wasn't bombed. He was on
There's
air talking to
footage.
me. What are you talking about?
There's footage
How was he bombed
on
and
every
talking to me?
media platform.
He was talking to me.
Of the TV station
How on
burning.
earth was he being bombed
Anyway,
as
listen,
he talked to
Piers.
me? Complete nonsense, man.
Piers,
You're talking
as
nonsense.
your dick is so much bigger than my dick, as your dad is so much bigger than my dad, and as your television program is so much bigger and better than mine,
Yeah.
I'll say goodnight to you because I have rather more wholesome people.
Oh, you're running
to
away.
Talk to.
Okay.
No, I'm not running away,
running
but
away.
I won't be coming back.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I made the mistake of thinking that you were an honest man.
Yeah.
In fact, you're a slippery.
Well, it's okay, because I never made that mistake with you.
You're
So don't worry about it. I never made that mistake with you, George. I always thought you were thoroughly disingenuous and you prop up these evil regimes for reasons that completely baffle me. And you think you're the right guy. You think you're the honest guy. And actually, you know what? You're the kind of guy that one minute you call me a rat, the next minute I'm your hero and you're praising me. It's like, it's pathetic.
Is that why you ask me onto your show every single week, Piers?
Sorry?
Every single week. I've got the texts.
What's that?
Every single week you ask me onto your show because I'm all these things you just accuse me of.
No, I don't mind having you on to challenge you. No problem.
Every week.
No
you
problem.
ask me every week.
You came on, I think you apparently
You
last
ask me
we last
every
asked
week.
you on
I've
6
got the
weeks ago.
text.
Why are you lying? We haven't
I've
asked you on
got
for
the
6
text.
weeks.
You
We haven't
asked me
asked
to
you on
come
for 6
on
weeks.
every single
3rd
week.
of May we asked you last time. 3rd of May. You're lying.
Your dick may be bigger
You're
than
lying,
mine.
George.
Your
3rd
dick
of May.
may be bigger than
3rd
mine.
of May.
Your show may be bigger
7
than
weeks
mine.
ago.
But I'll tell you what, Piers, you're a busted flush. That's what you are.
You know what, George? We're about to pass 4 million subscribers on Piers Morgan Uncensored, and you're walking off because you can't handle the heat.